Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Bow down, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Bow down, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna, Hare Ram. Sit properly. Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Ram 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Ram
हरे कृष्णा। राजू प्रभु, माधवी माता जी, सरस्वती माता जी, ब्रह्मानंद माता जी, संध्या माता जी, समित माता जी, दीपा माता जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। और शिशिल प्रभुपाद गुरु महाराज। लेट अस स्टार्ट। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। उमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिमेत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। ओम पवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावसङ्गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं सा बाह्याभ्यन्तरं शुचिः। श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु। Let us repeat, let us do this. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 9th chapter. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled to various holy places, South India, western part of India, North India. So we are reading. Today, hopefully, we will be done with this chapter. There are 365 verses. We are at 359. We'll continue. So please repeat after me. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद।
नित्यानंद।
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा।
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंद।
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद।
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद।
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा।
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंद।
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद।
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद।
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा।
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंद।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे,
हरे हरे, हरे
हरे
राम
राम।
हरे हरे।
लॉर्ड श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय, नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, श्री अद्वैत आचार्य की जय, गदाधर पंडित की जय, श्रीवास ठाकुर की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। या तो प्रभु जी से वर ले राजू प्रभु नहीं, राजू प्रभु हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
स्टार्ट जी प्रभु।
अनंत चैतन्य लीला काही ते ना जानी, लोभे लज्जा खाना तारा कारी ताना तानी। The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are unlimited. No one can properly describe his activities. Yet, I make the attempt out of greed. This but reveals my shamelessness.
Yes, प्रभु नेक्स्ट।
प्रभुरा तीर्थयात्रा काता सुने एनी जाना, चैतन्य चारा ने पाया गादा प्रेमा धाना।
Translation.
Yeah.
Whoever hears of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pilgrimage to various holy places attains the riches of very deep ecstatic love. Purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura remarks, the impersonalist imagine some forms of the absolute truth through the direct uh, perception of their senses. The impersonalist worships such imaginary forms, but neither Srimad Bhagavatam nor Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accept the sense gratificatory worship to be any spiritual significance. The Mayavadis imagine themselves to be the Supreme. They imagine that the Supreme has no personal form, that all of his forms are imaginary, like will, oh, the wish, or a flower in the sky. Both Mayavadis and those who imagine forms of God are misguided. According to them, worship of the deity or any other form of the Lord is a result of the conditioned soul's illusion. However, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam on strength on the strength of his philosophy of Chaitanya Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. That philosophy holds that the Supreme Lord is simultaneously one with and different from his creation. That is to say, there is unity in diversity. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu provided the importance of fruitive workers, speculative empiric philosophers, and mystic yogis. The relation of such men is simply a waste of time and energy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, let me read. Continuation. Purport Srila Prabhupada ki jai. To set the example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally visited temples in various holy places. Where he visited, he immediately exhibited his ecstatic love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When a Vaishnava visits the temple of a demigod, his vision of the demigod is different from the vision of the impersonalists and Mayavadis. The Brahma Samhita supports this. A Vaishnava's visit to the temple of Lord Shiva, for example, is different from a non-devotee's visit. The non-devotee considers the deity of Lord Shiva an imaginary form because he ultimately thinks that the supreme absolute truth is void. However, a Vaishnava sees Lord Shiva as being simultaneously one with and different from the Supreme Lord. In this regard, the example of milk and yogurt is given. Yogurt is actually nothing but milk, but at the same time, it is not milk. It is simultaneously one with milk, yet different from it. This is the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is confirmed by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina mastani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Saraswati Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, are you there? Mosquito unmute. Brahmanamba Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
No. Please read this highlighted text.
The
Are you able
absolute
to do?
truth. Yes, Prabhuji. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
right.
Prabhuji?
Yes.
The absolute truth. God is everything, but this does not mean that everything is God. For this reason, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers visited the temples of all the demigods, but they did not see them in the same way and impersonalists see them. Everyone should follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and visit all temples. Sometimes mundane Sahajiyas suppose that the gopis visited the temple of Katyayani. In the same way, mundane people visit the temple of Devi. However, the gopis prayed to Katyayani to grant them Krishna as their husband, whereas mundanes visit the temple of Katyayani to receive some material profit. This is the difference between a Vaishnava's visit and a non-devotee's visit. Not understanding the process of disciplic succession, so-called logician put forward the theory of Panchopasana, in which a person worships one of 5 deities. Namely, Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, the sun god, or Ganesha. In this conception, the impersonalists imagine one of these 5 deities as supreme and reject the others. Such philosophical speculation, which is certainly idol worship, is not accepted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or by Vaishnavas. The imaginary deity worship has recently been transformed into Mayavada impersonalism. For want of Krishna consciousness, people are victimized by the Mayavada philosophy, and consequently, they sometimes become staunch atheists. However, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established the process of self-realization by his own personal behavior, as stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 8.274. Stavara Jangama Deke Na Deke Tara Murti Sarvatra Haya Nija Ishta Deva Spurti. A Vaishnava never see the material form of anything, moving or non-moving. Rather, everywhere he looks, he sees the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and immediately he remembers the transcendental form of the Lord. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare.
Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Beautiful verse. That's the Vaishnava vision. Vaishnava vision. He never sees the material form of anything. Everything in connects with Krishna. Chara achara. Moving and non-moving. Stavara jangama deke, na deke, taramurtis. Sarvatra haya nija ishta deva spurti. He looks, he sees energy of the Supreme Personality of God. So 2 energies, right? Material energy, spiritual energy. And immediately he remembers the transcendental form of the Lord. That means Krishna is the everything. Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Various verses. Devotee remembers. That's the beauty of Vaishnava vision. Another thing, atheist Mayavadis, materialist, impulsive means they won't believe Krishna. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschakta Deshadarane. He wanted to defeat the philosophy of impersonalism. Srila Prabhupada. Voidism. Everything is energy. There is no God. All forms are imaginary forms, like that. They're thinking. So that's not correct. So Acharyas and all the 4 sampradayas says that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is a person. That's why ultimately Bhakti Yoga, we are worshipping Radha Krishna deity form, both feminine form and muscular form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let us continue. Let me see. Madhavi Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Madhavi Mataji. Okay.
Can I read Prabhuji?
Mataji, chalan. Yeah.
Chaitanya Charita Suna Shraddha Bhakti Kari Matsarya Chadiya Mukhe Bala Hari Hari. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with faith and devotion, giving up envy of the Lord. Everyone chant the Lord's holy name, Hari.
Read.
Yes, Prabhu. ये कली काले आरा नहीं कोना धर्मा वैष्णवा शास्त्र यही कही मर्मा. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this age of Kali, there are no genuine religious principles other than those established by Vaishnava devotees and the Vaishnava scriptures. This is the sum and substance of everything. Purport. One must have firm faith in the process of devotional service and the scriptures that support it. If one hears the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with this faith, he can be freed from his envious position. Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for such non-envious persons. Nirmat Saranam Satam. In this age,
Nirmat Saranam. Nirmat Saranam. Nirmat Saranam Satam. ఒక verse ఉంటుంది Mataji.
Nirmat Sarana.
Nirmat
In this
yeah.
age, a person should not envy Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, but should chant the holy names of Hari and Krishna, the Mahamantra. That is the sum and substance of the eternal religion known as Sanatana Dharma. In this verse, the word Vaishnava refers to a pure devotee and fully realized soul, and the word Vaishnava Shastra refers to Shruti or the Vedas, which are called Shabda Pramana, the evidence of transcendental sound. One who strictly follows the Vedic literature and chants the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will actually be situated in the transcendental disciple succession. Those who want to attain life's ultimate goal must follow this principle. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.19.17, it is said, Srutihi pratyaksham eitihyam anumanam चतुश्चायम प्रमाणेषु अनवास्तहिंद. क्या प्रभु जी that word?
Yeah. Anavasthanad.
अनवस्थानाद विकल्पत सविराजयते. Vedic literature, direct perception, history, and hypothesis are the four kinds of evidential proofs. Everyone should stick to these principles for the realization of the absolute truth. Hare Krishna.
It's Bhagavatam says 11th canto. Pramanam. Shastra Pramanam antaru. We say the Shastra Pramanam, this is Shastra Pramanam. Vedic literature, direct perception, experience, history, and hypothesis. Thank you, Mataji, for reading. Deepa Mataji, Samyukta Mataji, we were ready.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Jannath 63.
Chaitanya Chandrera Leela Gadha Gambhira Pravesha Karite Nari Sparshira Hitira. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are just like an unfathomable ocean. It is not possible for me to enter into it. Simply standing on the shore, I am but touching the water. Chaitanya Charita Shraddhaya Chaitanya Charita Shraddhaya Sune Jana Ye Yate Kavichare Tata Paya Prema Dhana. The more one hears the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with faith, analytically studying them, the more one attains the ecstatic riches of love of Godhead.
Last verse, Mataji.
Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padeyara. Sorry. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padeyara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rup and Shri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadasa, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Purport. As usual, the author concludes the chapter by reciting the names of Shri Rupa and Raghunatha and reinstating himself at their lotus feet. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 9th chapter, describing Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travels to many, many holy places in South India. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Shri Rupa Goswami ki jai, Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam ki jai. So let us give some gap for this. We spent close to 5 to 6 weeks on this chapter. 365 verses every day, 10, 12, like that we have read. So let us give some break. And again, we go through with Subodhini guide for this one and Bhagavatam also, whatever canto we have done. Second canto, 9th chapter we have done, Mataji. 8th chapter from Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, what we have to do previously with the Subodhini readings?
Let's check.
Mataji?
ఇప్పుడే చెక్ చేసి
2.7 ప్రభుజీ
2.7 ఎందుకంటే
2.7 అయింది.
పురుష
2.7
సూక్త
చేయాలి.
తర్వాత ఒక చాప్టర్ చేసాం మీరు లేనప్పుడు, దాని తర్వాత 2.7
ఏమవుతుంది?
2.7 ప్రభుజీ
పురుష తర్వాత మనం ఒక చాప్టర్ చేసాం, 2.7 చేసాం.
అంటే 2.7 సుబోధిని రిఫరెన్సెస్ అయిపోయినా?
అయిపోలేదు ప్రభుజీ, అయిపోలేదు.
2.7 చేయాలి అండ్ అదే సుగంధిని కాలేదు, బట్ ఐ విల్ మేక్ a note of it. So we'll read Prabhupada Lilamrita and we'll read those 2 study guides once we're done with one of the chapters. Prabhupada Lilamrita. We'll start today. Prabhupada Lilamrita. Let me 1 second. SB 2.7 we need to do, and CC Madhya 9th chapter. SB Subandhi guides. Okay. We'll read. Okay. Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Volume 1, we are reading Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita right after Chaitanya Champa. This is the sequence we are doing, right? We all know. Bhagavad Gita done. No, we are little conversed with it. Little. But anyway, we have to start again once we done with these books. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita ki jai. Volume 1, we have done till now. Let me see. 8 అయిపోయింది కదా మొత్తం. Chapter 8, New Delhi, crying alone in the wilderness. This one done.
Yes, Prabhuji. 8 అయిపోయింది Prabhuji.
8 done. So we are starting chapter 9, a resident of Vrindavana. Yes, we start. చదవండి మాతది మీరే, మన సంయుక్త మాతది.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Chapter 9, a resident of Vrindavana. I was sitting alone in Vrindavana, writing. My god brother insisted to me, Bhakti Vedanta Prabhu, you must do it. Without accepting the renounced order of life, nobody can become a preacher. So he insisted. Not he insisted, practically my spiritual master insisted. He wanted me to become a preacher, so he forced me through this god brother. You accept. So unwillingly I accepted. Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Continue. One more paragraph.
Okay, Prabhuji. The passenger cars behind the locomotive moved forward almost silently, thumping at a slow rhythm over the tracks. The train pulled out of the station, past freight yards, a neighborhood of run-down tenements, the old Delhi fort, the garbage dump at Nizamuddin, with its hundreds of crows and vultures flying overhead, and then past a marble dome red sandstone mosque. Seated in a third-class compartment, his luggage stored beneath his seat, Abhay could see factory workers walking near the tracks, carrying their lunches in metal tiffins, and then the factory surrounded by huts of mud and straw. He passed the thatched roofs and tarpaulin tents, the cow dung fires that smoked in the morning air. The tall stalks of the Indraprastha electrical powerhouse spewed out a different smoke, and sooty black clouds poured back from the locomotive. He saw red and violet flowers blooming from bramble bushes at trackside, and beyond he saw the road to Madura with its border of fruitless kikar trees. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. நல்லா பண்ணீங்க.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It was the morning train to Agra and there were few passengers. Abhay would be riding as far as Madura and then traveling by Tanga to Vrindavana. He had ridden widely the Indian Railway, especially in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, when he had travelled on business in Bengal, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. He had been to Vrindavana several times. In his childhood, reveries over the train timetables, it had been the first place he had thought of visiting. His first visit in 1925 had been but a brief pilgrimage while he had been in nearby Agra on business. Then in 1932, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tagore had been to Vrindavana on Parikrama, 1932. That had been a memorable visit. Abhay had heard him speak at Koshi and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tagore had marked him. He likes to hear. And then at Radhakunda, 3 years later, he had been with his spiritual master again. But he had never gone like this, to live there, dressed in a simple white dhoti, his hands in his hands in his bead bag, fingering his japa beads, he looked out the window, quietly chanting the holy name. The train passed through the dense thickest of Faridabad and into the agricultural fields, and with their interspersed patches of wheat, dal, and sugarcane, beginning at trackside and stretching for half a mile to the dry, uncultivated land that continued as far as the eye could see. The train sped faster. Rural villages drifted past the window. An hour out of Delhi, the land was mostly flat and open, dotted with small villages. Occasionally, he would glimpse a striking old temple, but mostly it was the land, now barren, with a few palm trees, now cultivated with irrigated fields under the expanse of blue sky and blazing sun.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lavanya. Yeah, Vani Mataji. Go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
No.
For a long time, Abhay had wanted to take shelter in Vrindavan, and now there was no obstacle. His purpose remained the same. He would write back to Godhead and deliver it to the printer in Delhi fortnightly. As long as he could afford to travel, he would return to Delhi to distribute back to Godhead. But he would live in a shelter of Vrindavana. He had in mind the room at the Vamsi Gopalji temple near Keshi Ghata, a rooftop room that commanded a view of almost all the Vrindavana. And since his 1953 visit from the Jhansi, he had kept in touch with the temple manager. In moving to Vrindavana, Abhay was following the preceded spiritual masters. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and Bhakti Vinoda Thakura had their house at Radha Kunda and had preached in Vrindavana. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Jagannath Das Babaji, Vishwanath Chakravarti, and Narottama Das Thakur had lived either in Vrindavana or in the Navdvipa, near the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya and his immediate followers had an especially intimate relationship with Vrindavana. Lord Chaitanya had commissioned Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami to uncover the places of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavana that over the centuries had become lost. Rupa and Sanatana had left their prestigious government post and gone to live in Vrindavana. Dressed in simple loin clothes, they had lived without fixed residence, staying each night under a different tree. They and Jiva Goswami, Raghunatha Das Goswami, Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, and Gopala Bhatta Goswami, known and worshipped as the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana, had compiled a voluminous literature on Krishna Bhakti. They had inspired wealthy Vaishnava patrons to erect Vrindavana's great temples, Govindaji, Madan Mohana, Radha Damodar, Radha Ramana, and Radha Kunda. Shortly after Lord Chaitanya's departure from the world, Raghunath Das Goswami had chanted 100,000 names of Krishna and discoursed for several hours daily on the pastimes of the Lord Chaitanya. There also, Krishnadas Kaviraj had compiled the Chaitanya Charitamrit, describing the life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah, just we are reading. We are just done with one chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya. So this is the thing, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction. They took that instruction as a life and soul and dedicated their lives serving Radha and Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the thing, their life, see. They left their prestigious government posts and gone to live in Vrindavana, dressed in simple land clothes, without fixed residence. Tree, staying each night under a different tree. So how much renunciation and how much austerity they have performed. And they are Goswamis, 6 Goswamis. And we put in our altar and worshipping them. That's where we get the Prema Bhakti. When we worship this kind of great devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead, why we put all in the altar? We put, Srila Prabhupada picture is there, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami picture is there, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Bhakti Vinoda Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji, and 6 Goswamis. Why? Because this is a Guru Parampara. They exemplified their life to teach us. Yes, Mother. Thank you. Now, Sirisha Mata, I'm seeing you. You want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Vrindavana is the earthly manifestation of Lord Krishna's eternal spiritual abode, which the Lord himself describes in Bhagavad Gita. There is another nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to manifested and unmanifested matter. It is never annihilated. It is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Krishna's activity of eternity, bliss and knowledge and his abode.
1 second, Mataji. Sorry.
Yeah.
Manam ee pera miss chutnam avane cheptundi. You read again, please. Even those
Gaudiya Vaishnavas who did not live in Vrindavana kept Vrindavana always in their hearts and proclaimed its glories. The Chaitanya Charitamrita describes the great ecstasy Lord Chaitanya felt while traveling from Puri to Vrindavana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind was absorbed in ecstatic love at Jagannath Puri, but when he passed along the road on the way to Vrindavana, that love increased 100 times. The Lord ecstatic love increased 1,000 times when he visited Mathura. But it increased 100,000 times when he wandered in the forest of Vrindavana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was elsewhere, the very name of Vrindavana was sufficient to increase his ecstatic love. Now, when he was actually traveling in the Vrindavana forest, his mind was absorbed in great ecstatic love day and night. He ate and bathed simply out of habit.
No.
Can I read?
Yeah.
Vrindavana is the earthly manifestation of Lord Krishna's eternal spiritual abode, which the Lord himself describes in Bhagavad Gita. There is another nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to manifested and unmanifested matter. It is never annihilated. It is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Krishna's activities of eternity, bliss and knowledge and his abode, Goloka Vrindavana, are described in many Vedic literatures. I worship Govinda, the premier Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires, in abodes built with spiritual gems, where he is surrounded by millions of purpose trees and always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and hundreds of Lakshmis or Gopis.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Purpose trees or desire trees? Both are same. Different purpose trees. Thank you. Okay. Sanjay Mataji hearing more. So now Prabhuji, whoever joined. Okay. Sapan Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Although Lord Krishna's abode, Goloka Vrindavana, is far beyond the material world, when Krishna comes to earth, he displays his eternal abode in Vrindavana of India. That 84 square mile tract in North India is identical with the eternal world in the spiritual sky. To live and die in Vrindavana guarantees the devotees transfer to the eternal spiritual world. The residents of Vrindavana, even the animals, are exalted. At the end of life, they will transfer to Goloka Vrindavana. Lord Brahma therefore prayed that he might take birth as a clump of grass on the outskirts of Vrindavana, so that these pure devotees would purify him with the dust from their feet. And Vaishnava Shastras declare that even by only a brief visit to Vrindavana, one can realize the Supreme Lord in his heart. Continue, Chalpabhi, torture. Chaitanya Charitamrita states, the transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Gokula, is all-pervading, infinite and supreme. It expands both above and below without any restriction. That abode is manifested within the material world by will of Lord Krishna. It is identical to that original Gokula. They are not two different bodies. The land there is touchstone, Chintamani, and the forest abound with desired trees. Although material eyes see it as an ordinary place, the ideal place to execute Krishna consciousness is Vrajabhumi or Vrindavana, where people are naturally inclined to love Krishna and Krishna is naturally inclined to love them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Chandramal Prabhu. Chandramal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The train arrived at Madhya. Abhay stepped down with his luggage and looked around. Nothing noting the recently constructed Madhya Junction building. Proceeding through the gate and out of the station, he found a Tanga driver. Tanga driver agreed on the fare and started for Kesigata. For half a mile, the wobbling horse-drawn cart followed the road between the tracks and the railway yard. At the main road, they turned left, passed under a railroad bridge, and entered an open market. Piles of fruits, vegetables, and grains were displayed on the ground. Their vendors sitting beside them, bartering and measuring while customers milled about. The Madhya, dressed in brightly colored saris, yellows, greens, pinks, and purples, moved busily in the market. The vehicular traffic consisted mostly of bullock carts. The drivers often squatting on the wooden yokes between the shoulders of their animals, whipping alternately one ox and then the other with a length of a rope joined to a wooden handle. Although this was the most populated area in the trip of Vrindavan, compared to Delhi, it seemed too simple and rural. The sun was high. Oh.
This one, read.
Okay. The sun was high, but the Tanga stop provided a particular shelter. In the summer, had passed. Beyond the bazaar, the road curved to the right, and Abhay saw the nearby white domes of the massive sandstone mosque marking Krishna Janmasthana, the birthplace of Lord Krishna. Centuries ago, invading Muslims had destroyed the large Krishna temple and created the mosque in its stead. And now, directly in front of the mosque stood a newer, smaller Krishna temple.
Thank you, Prabhu. So nicely explaining this Maharaj. Satswarup Das Goswami Maharaj. How language is, no? Super language, right? He is Westerner. Westerner written this Leela. Prabhupada Leela Murti. Satswarup Das Goswami Maharaj. Baltimore, there are some devotees who are the disciples of Rasurabi Mata, that Prabhupada. Yeah. So Akinjan Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare
Krishna.
Although much is they approached the three-way junction, New Delhi, Central Mathura, Vrindavana. The driver stuck the horse with his whip, and the Tanga proceeded along on the Vrindavan road, edging through the herd of white cows. The herdsman walking amongst them, carrying his stick. The road was busy with tangas and slow creating ox carts loaded with market commodities and pulled by squad black water buffalo. A string of small spindle-legged donkeys carried oversized loads of firewood and sandbags. Although much continue, Prabhu.
Continue, please.
Yeah. Although much had changed in Abhay's life since he had come here to see his spiritual master during the Parikrama years ago. Vrindavan had remained the same. He felt he had done the best thing in coming here, leaving the heat, traffic, and fumes, the human passions of Delhi. It was a natural relief, yet even as he felt transcendental emotions for Vrindavana, impressions for his months of preaching in Delhi lingered in his mind. The city streets and himself going from place to place with his back to Godheads. Life in Delhi had been constant, vigorous preaching. Now he is more than 60 years old, but he is not coming to Vrindavana to retire. He had retired from household responsibilities, but not from the responsibility of making back to Godhead, as popular, as sophisticated, as illustrated weekly. He would live in Vrindavan and commute to Delhi, but he would never stop preaching. Correct.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Lalitbam Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
The sight of taller trees signaled the precincts of Vrindavana. As the thin horse trotted along, past the police station and water through for animals. Okay, water through for animals. Okay. On either side appeared the garden courtyards of private estates and ashramas. Fragile white malati flowers, golden marigolds, frangipani trees, red hibiscus, trees of sorrow, and many other flowers and trees, some known only in Vrindavan, bloomed forth in the brilliant sunlight. The Radha Govind temple loomed fortress-like on his left, and opposite in the distance the high-rising tower of Ranganath temple. They entered narrow streets, tighter and busier places with markets and city buildings, and then it became quieter again. At the end of a narrow street by the Yamuna river, near the Keshi bathing Ghata, stood the small and beautiful ornate entrance of a Vamsi Gopalji temple. A narrow, three-storied building with three domes and many decorated arches. Prabhu, should I go ahead?
Go ahead, this one. Yeah.
Okay. After stepping over the curbside rain and walking up 3 marble steps, Abhay entered the front door, the driver following him carrying the luggage. Once inside, Abhay removed his shoes and entered the courtyard, which was open to the sky through a metal grate, okay, on which a few birds sat 2 floors above. A column of sunlight lit one side of the courtyard where a potted tulsi sat atop a pillar. The temple seemed cool and quiet. Adjacent to the courtyard was a deity room, its door locked shut. Overhead was a mezzanine with rooms whose entrances were visible from the courtyard. A few saris and strips of cloth hung on impoverished clothesline. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Sri Hari Prabhu, I am seeing you. Want to read? Sri Hari Prabhu, I think you dropped off, no? Okay. Yeah, ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ who have not read Prabhupada కనుక మాత చదవండి. Let me read this to you. Mahant Gopal, the temple pujari whom Abhay had known since 1954, greeted him cheerfully. He was about the same age as Abhay and had long grey hair and an unruly beard. Although Abhay's attire was modest, he appeared well dressed compared with Gopal, who wore only a coarse dhoti. Gopal led Abhay upstairs. Coming out onto the roof, Abhay smiled to see again the wonderful vista. Barely 100 yards away, he could see the Yamuna. Not only the immediate patch of water flowing before him, but to his left and right, a broad curving sheet of river shimmering in the afternoon sun. There were sand deltas, herds of cows, and buffalo grazing, the flat grassy banks of the Yamuna, and plains and trees as far as the eye could see. And in the opposite direction was the town of Vrindavana, marked by dozens of temples, spires, and domes. Yeah, అందరూ మాతాజీస్ అందరూ ఒక్కొక్క పారాగ్రాఫ్ చదవండి క్విక్ గా. Yeah, starting with Saraswati Mataji again. Saraswati Mataji. Mataji will drop it there. Okay, Mataji is ఇంకా నేను మిలాన్ మీరే ఒకరికి ఒకరు అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Abhay's room, the only one on the roof, was small, with a narrow double doors and bayed windows. Sitting on the apartment's roof, monkeys with their tiny offspring sat watching unalarmed. Just outside the door, a 2-foot-high cement pyramid signified that the temple deity was directly beneath. Abhay entered the room. Through the barred windows, he could see the place at Keshigata, the venerable tower of the Gopinatha temple, and behind the uninterpreted flat river, the green banks, and the sky.
Yes, mother. Thank you. Any mother, quickly.
After acquainting Abhay with details of the room, the small kerosene burner, the rope and bucket for drawing bath water from the well to the roof, Gopal meticulously produced a government stamped rental agreement. Abhay wrote a short paragraph declaring himself a disciple of the late Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada and attesting to his renting the room at 5 rupees per month. Both parties signed. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you. Anybody? Mother, बताओ. You read it.
After his bath, Abhay took prasadam and rested.
Abhay took prasadam and rested. When he
Sorry,
watched
Prabhuji,
the
I thought.
singing in the temple below, he went down to see the deities. Gopal, who had been the temple pujari for many years, had seen its reconstruction in 1923. Had told Abhay that the temple deity Vamshi Gopalji had been installed 350 years before by Mahant Prahlada Dasa of Nimbarka Vaishnava Sampradaya. Gopal himself had installed the deity of Radharani. Vamshi Gopalji, standing in a graceful threefold bending form and holding his flute, was very appealing. He was 3 feet tall and of black marble. Radharani, slightly shorter, was of brass. They were simply dressed in a rough white cotton and illumined by the dim of glow of kerosene lamp. Abhay could see that they were being cared for, but because of poverty, there was no opulence.
He returned to the roof as the sun was setting over the town of Vrindavana. Having the entire roof's walkway to himself, Abhay walked and chanted japa, enjoying the cooling early evening breeze from the Yamuna. Occasionally, a solitary boat would pass on the calm waters of the Yamuna, and a devotee somewhere unseen could be heard chanting evening prayers at Kesi Ghata. He felt pleased with this location in the heart of the pastimes of Lord Krishna. He was not a newcomer spending his first day in a strange town. Everything here was already familiar and dear. As Vrindavana was Krishna's abode, Abhay was Krishna's servant. The servant of the 6 Goswamis, the servant of his spiritual master, he felt at home. Hare
Read this
Krishna.
one. You read this one.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. As day turned to twilight, temple bells rang throughout the town. Abhay walked to the western side of the roof and looked into the city of thousands of temples. The Govindaji temple, the Ranganatha temple, and thousands of smaller temples were having their Sanja Arti and Kirtana, glorifying Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anybody? I think Vanimata, you are not a reader.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. Abhay responded to the sights and sounds of Vrindavana as only a pure devotee could. His thoughts and emotions were full of appreciation and awareness of Krishna, Krishna's devotees and Krishna's land. Naturally, he began to think of preaching, hankering for others to know the intimate peace and ecstasy of Vrindavana. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was inviting all souls to join him in his eternal abode. Yet, even in India, few understood. And outside India, people knew nothing of Vrindavana or of the Yamuna or of what it means to be free of material desires. Why shouldn't people all around the world have this? This was the abode of peace, yet no one knew anything of it, nor were people interested. But this is what they were actually hankering for.
Okay. Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. ఇంకా ముగ్గురు దీపమాధవి కాంత్ ప్రభు శ్రీహరి ప్రభు. శ్రీహరి ప్రభు, ఆర్ యు దేర్? Anyway, Mother, yeah, read, Mother.
Abhay thought of back to Godhead and how, by Krishna's grace, he might expand his preaching beyond India to the whole world. his god brothers, it would have been better if they had all worked together in the Gaudiya Mutt, but many of them were at least keeping the regulative principles. None of them, however, seemed to be doing much beyond maintaining a temple here, an ashrama there, worshipping a deity, eating and sleeping. But there was so much more to be done in broadcasting the glories of Vrindavan. Abhay chanted and thought of Krishna. Gradually, he turned to his task of producing the October issue of Back to Godhead, due to be printed shortly in Delhi. He had a deadline to keep. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhya. Kant Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
ప్రభుజీ దండోత్ ప్రణామ్.
Dandapana, ఈ యొక్క paragraph చదవండి. లీలామృతం. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, first volume, 9th chapter we are reading. Read.
Keeping to his regular schedule, he
No,
put,
this one highlighted. The
Sorry.
next morning.
The next morning before sunrise, the residents of Vrindavan were austere, bathing in the Yamuna, performing puja to their deities, reciting mantras. But Abhay was awake even before most, writing in stillness beneath the light in his rooftop room. As he wrote diligently in English, scripture references appeared and took their place within convincing arguments. For hours, he wrote pages after pages in an exercise book until gradually the chirping of awakening birds signaled the end of the dark night stillness. Soon the sun would rise. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Sriyar Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Sorry,
జాయిన్ అయినందుకు చదవండి ప్రభు. చదవండి ఈ paragraph.
Keeping to his regular schedule, he put aside his writing and began chanting japa. Staying in his room, uttering the Hare Krishna mantra in a soft, deep voice, even before the first traces of light in the sky, before the river was visible, a few Babajis reciting prayers made their way through the streets, heading for the Yamuna. By 4 a.m., gongs and temple bells throughout the city heralded the Mangala Arati of the deity. Abhay continued chanting alone for another hour. Then he prepared to bath, lowering the bucket on its long rope and hauling water up to the rooftop. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
We'll stop here, okay? Yeah. Thank you so much for reading today. Chaitanya Charitamritam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Leelamritam ki jai. We'll continue from this paragraph tomorrow. Okay? So we'll continue our Sloka recitations. Let me share. Directly we'll go to that Bhakti Vaibhava. Yesterday we practiced, no? So we'll practice again. And we'll go to another verse and then Bhakti Shastri practice. So let me share. Yeah. The Bhakti Vaibhava students, Vani Mataji 382, ఒకసారి రిసైడ్ చేయండి.
Yes, Prabhuji.
382.
Okay. Ashish Sanklesha Shamam. 382. Okay.
అన్ని చేద్దాం వాళ్ళకి.
So
382.
Soham Ram Kshulak Sukhaya Dukkham Mahadkatanam Viramaya Tasya Pravartaye Bhagavatam Puranam Yad Aha Sakshat Bhagavan Rishebhya. నాకు ట్యూన్ పోయింది బాబుజీ, నాకు ట్యూన్ గుర్తురాట్లా.
అంతే అట్లా సేమ్ కరెక్టే ఉంది. మీరు ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ కూడా చదువుతారా?
Okay, translation. Let me now begin speaking on the Bhagavata Purana, which was directly spoken to the great sages by the personality of Godhead for the benefit of those who are entangled in extreme miseries for the sake of very little pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
నేను చేయనా ప్రభుజీ?
Yeah, చేయండి.
sorry. सोऽहं नृणां क्षुल्लसुखाय दुःखं महत्कथानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदाह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः. Translation. Let me now begin speaking on the Bhagavad Purana, which was directly spoken to the great sages by the personality of Godhead for the benefit of those who are entangled in extreme miseries for the sake of very little pleasure. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhya. Raju Prabhu. ఉన్నారా? I'm not sure.
హరే కృష్ణ
హరే కృష్ణ. రాజు ప్రభు చేస్తారా?
అది నేను ఇది ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయలేదు ప్రభు. శ్లోకం ఇది ఎప్పుడు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసిన ప్రభు?
నిన్న సరే నేను ఒకసారి చేస్తా, చూడండి. నిన్న నేర్చుకున్నది ఇది. ఓకే, మీరు డ్రాప్ అయిపోయి ఉన్నారు ఎందుకంటే మీకు బిజీ ఉన్నాను వర్క్. సో యూ డూ, ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు డూ. సో ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ యూ ట్రై టు రిపీట్, యూ ట్రై టు రిసైట్ శ్రీమద్ భాగవతం 3.8.2. सोऽहं नृणां क्षुल्लसुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदाह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषभ्यः. Let me now begin speaking on the Bhagavata Purana, which was directly spoken to the great sages by the personality of Godhead for the benefit of those who are entangled in extreme miseries for the sake of very little pleasure. Yes, sir, I know.
I'll try, Prabhuji. Yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam 3.8.2. Soham nrinam kshullak sukhaya dukkam mahadgatanam viramaya tasya pravartare bhagavatam puranam.
Correct.
प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदाह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः.
Super. Translation.
Yeah. Translation. Let me now begin speaking on the Bhagavata Purana, which was directly spoken to the great sages by the personality of Godhead for the benefit of those who are entangled in the extreme miseries of sake of very little pleasure.
Yeah. So one or two Mataris and one or two Prabhus. If you want to do, please do Sloka. Then we'll go to another verse.
Yeah.
Today.
Can I do Prabhuji?
Chanting.
Srimad Bhagavatam 3.8.2. Soham nrinam shulla sukhaya dukkham mahadgatanam viramaya tasya pravartaye bhagavatam puranam yada sakshat bhagavan rishibhya. Translation would share Prabhuji. Sloka okati.
Sloka. Anyone?
I'll do Prabhuji.
Yeah.
सोऽहं नृणां क्षुल्लसुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यद् आह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Anyone? One last. Chant.
सोऽहं निर्नाम सुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यद्याः साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः.
प्रवर्तये.
यतोऽहं निर्नाम क्षुल्लसुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भगवतं पुराणं यद्यः साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः.
Bhagavatam and Yadaha.
Can I say Prabhuji? Can I read Prabhuji? Soham nृणां क्षुल्लसुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदः साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः.
Jai. Thank you so much. We'll do another, there are 2 more verses for our Bhakti Vaibhav exam. So 3911 and 3925. Today we'll learn 3911. 3911. Over to you, Prabhuji. Lalitmam Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Unda meek time unda? 9,
Yeah,
5,
yeah,
9.
yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Today I have time. It's okay. Yesterday I didn't have it.
ఇది కాంటాక్ట్ చూసినావా?
కాంటెక్స్ట్ ఇది ఒక్క నిమిషం ప్రభుజీ ఒకసారి. అరే సీయింగ్ త్రూ ఇయర్స్ నా దిస్ వన్ శృతేక్షిత.
చాప్టర్ టైటిల్ భాగవతం.
ప్రభు, దిస్ ఈస్ గ్లోరిఫైయింగ్ ఆఫ్ విష్ణు బై బ్రహ్మ. Brahma's prayers to Garbhodaksha Vishnu.
Creative energy. Okay. Yes.
So yesterday we have read 3.8, na?
Yes.
3.8. What was that?
3.8. 3.8
so
chapter.
Indranam Kshulla. Little. That is Maitreya starting and telling to Vidura about, I will about to speak Bhagavatam. And this Bhagavatam is for those people who endeavor a lot for a very little happiness. Okay, that's how he started, and then he will give the genealogy of how the Brahma's birth has taken place. So while speaking the Brahma's birth, some questions are asked by Vidura. Sorry, Vidura. Then again, now the Brahma starts conversing with the Garbhodaksha Vishnu for praying him to give him the energy for creation, the intelligence for creation. Okay, so this is one such prayers, one stanza of those prayers whereby Brahma says to Garbhodaksha Vishnu that your disciples, your devotees actually, what they do is they see through their ears. That is their greatness, and your greatness is in whichever form they imagine through those scriptures and all, hearing it through their ears, you will manifest in that way in front of them. Okay, this is the greatness of God. What is his greatness? Now, by hearing many times, all these shlokas and all, we already imagine a form of Krishna, right? Within our own mind, with our own intelligence, we will just, imagine a form. And it is said that by Brahma, in the same form, you will appear Krishna to the devotee, whoever thinks you in whichever way. Understood, na?
Yes, sir.
So, Shrutekshita is very important, na? Shrutekshita. Seeing through the ears. Okay?
Yeah, Shruta Ikshita.
Shruta
Ikshita. Seeing through the ears.
Shruta, through hearing. Ikshita means watching through hearing. Okay? Yeah.
And Bhagavantuni, through ears, we can see. Hearing. Hearing is very important aspect.
Prabhu, like 2 or 3, in 3 or 4 different ways you can do this shloka. Which one would you like? Like we can do it in Brahma Samhita way. Like Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Hit Saroja Ase Shrutekshita Pato Nanunata. That's the one thing. The other one is the Mandara Kunda Prabhupada. Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Hit Saroja Ase Shrutekshita Pato Nanunata Pumsam. Which one do you like, Prabhu?
ఇంకా ఏమన్నారు? 4 అన్నారు కదా, ఇంకా 2
ఇంకొకటి ఏంటంటే అది మన అదే అర్జునుడు మొత్తం వాడిని అంటాడు కదా, సారథ్య పార్షద. త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత్ సరోజా ఆసేషు తేక్షిత పతో ననునాథ పుంషాం యద్యద్ధియాత ఉరుగాయ విభవ. Which this one?
Now you are training up. Now wait Mataji.
Second one,
Mataji. Now you are training up anchor slokas coming into play. We have to play
because I have seen you people, all of you,
which tune
whoever has recited the shloka yesterday's which we recited, because I have recited in one tune and you followed today in another tune, so I just wanted to give that.
This is Prabhuji,
can I do?
3.8.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Madhu.
सोऽहं नृणां शुल्लसुखाय दुःखं महर्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदाह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः
100 by 100, Madhu. You got 100 by 100.
No, see, it's not like that actually.
90
It's good that you have done in a different way also, Prabhu. I'm very happy that you have done it in a very different way also. That's what actually, why we learn all those things, so that we enjoy the taste of Bhagavatam. That's
సో అయితే ఏంటి ప్రభు అది
మీరు చెప్పండి ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పండి ఎట్లా చేయమంటారు
సోహం రుణం క్షుల్ల సుఖాయ దుఃఖం అంటే
ప్రభుజీ సెకండ్ ట్యూన్ అదే చంపక్
మందార
ట్యూన్ ప్రభుజీ the flowers are described, no, all the flowers are
yeah.
Okay, before that synonyms translation. Synonyms and translation.
Okay,
one time Jayan. Anybody synonyms? Okay, Prabhu
I can do Prabhuji.
Jayan.
Tvam unto you, Bhakti Yoga in devotional service, Paribhavita being 100% engaged, Hrit of the heart, Saroje on the lotus, Ase you reside, Shruta Ikshita seen through the ear, Pataha the path, Nanu now, Natha O my Lord, Pumsham of the devotees, Yat whichever, Dhiya by meditating, Te your, Urugaya O multi-glorious, Vibhavayanti they specifically think of, Tat the very same, Vapuhu transcendental form, Pranayase do you manifest, Sat Anugrahaya to show your causeless mercy. Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, your devotees can see through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, shall I go ahead, Prabhu?
Yeah. Okay, if somebody asks, can we see God? Devotees, Prabhuji and mothers. If somebody asks, can we see God? This is the verse we can say. Yes, we can see God. This is what Bhagavatam says, 3:9-11. We can see God through hearing. Through we can see. Continue, thank you.
Yes. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita saroja.
Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita saroja.
Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita saroja.
Bhakti yoga paribhavita saroja.
Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita saroja.
Bhakti yoga paribhavita
saroja.
Ase shrute kshitapato nanunat pumsam.
Ase kshitapato nanunat pumsam.
Ase shrute kshitapato nanunat pumsam.
Ase kshitapato nanunat pumsam.
Ase shrute kshitapato nanunat pumsam.
Ase kshitapato nanunat pumsam.
Yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti.
Yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti.
Yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti. Yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti.
यद्यद्धियाय विभावयन्ति
तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
प्रणयसे
तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
त्वं भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा आस्ते श्रुतेक्षितपतो ननुनाथ पुंसाम्
भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा असे पतो
त्वं भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा आस्ते श्रुतेक्षितपतो ननुनाथ पुंसाम्
भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा आसे क्षितपतो
त्वं भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा आस्ते श्रुतेक्षितपतो ननुनाथ पुंसाम्
भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा आसे क्षितपतो
यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
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 त्वं भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा आस्ते श्रुतेक्षितपतो ननुनाथ पुंसाम् यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा ते श्रुते क्षितपतो यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
त्वं भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा आसे श्रुतेक्षितपतो ननुनाथ पुंसाम् यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
आसे सुरक्षितपतो यद्धियात उरुगाय तत्त्वप्रणयसे
त्वं भक्तियोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजा आस्ते श्रुतेक्षितपतो ननुनाथ पुंसाम् यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
परिभावितहृत्सरोजा आसे सुरक्षितपतो यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय तत्त्वप्रणयसे
सदनुग्रहाय.
Thank you so much, devotees. Now you can go for your individual practice. Prabhuji,
Yeah.
can you please lead them? I'll
Yes,
be here only.
yes, yes. Thank you, Babu. Vani Mataji, చేయండి.
ప్రభు నాకే ఎవరు అందరికంటే రాదు, నన్నే ఫస్ట్ పెట్టారు మీరు.
యా ఎందుకంటే
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు,
because మీరు అడిగారు కదా, సో దట్ యు గాట్ సమ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్. I thought you got some interest and love to recite. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, Prabhuji. I have interest, but I'm not, I think, okay, I'll maybe learn over a period of time.
Okay, చేస్తుంటే మన ప్రభుజీ is helpful here, so he will correct us. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavit hrit saroja ase shrutakshita pato nanunatha pumsam yat yathyatya urugaya vibhavaya yanti tat tat vapuha pranayase sat anugrahaya.
Mataji, second and third lines ఒకసారి నాతో చెప్పండి. ఆసే శృతి క్షితపతో ననునాథ పుంసా.
ఆశే శృతే క్షితపతో ననునాథ పుంసాం
యద్యద్ధియాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి.
యద్యద్ధియత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి.
Yes, Mataji.
త్వం భక్తి.
Yes, Mataji.
ట్రై చేయడం మరి ప్రభుజీ చెప్తే వేరే వాళ్ళకి
ట్రై చేయండి మాతాజీ, ఇంకా మీకు ఎగ్జామ్ ఉంది కదా.
త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావృత హిత్ సరోజా.
ఇది సెకండ్ లైన్ ట్యూన్, ఇది ఫస్ట్ లైన్ వేరు ఉంటుంది. మందారకుండ త్వం భక్తి యోగ
త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావృత హిత్ సరోజా ఆసే శృతక్షిత పదో ననునాథ పుంసాం యత్యత్యేత ఉరుగాయ విభవాయ యంతి తత్తద్వపూహ ప్రణయశే సదనుగ్రహాయ.
విభావయంతి. విభావయంతి. ఓకే మాతాజీ, హరే కృష్ణ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ ప్రభు.
Mataji, thank you very much. Raju Prabhu, anyway, Deepa Mataji, she's expert. She can do, but I'm asking differently. Raju Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.9.11. Tvam bhakti yoga prabhavita hritsaroja.
Paribhavita.
Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hritsaroja ఆశే సుతేక్షితపతో ననునాథ పుంసాం యద్యద్యాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి తద్దత్ విపూ ప్రణయసే
ప్రభు. తత్తత్వపు ప్రణయసే సదనుగ్రహాయ. అట్లా చేయండి సార్.
తత్తత్వపు ప్రణయసే సదానుగ్రహాయ.
సదనుగ్రహాయ.
సదానుగ్రహాయ.
సదనుగ్రహాయ.
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 సదనుగ్రహాయ. త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత్సరోజ.
త్వం భక్తి యోగ
పరిభావిత హృత్సరోజ ఆశే సుతేక్షితపతో ననునాథ పుంసాం యద్యద్యాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి తత్తద్వపు ప్రణయసే సదానుగ్రహాయ.
సదనుగ్రహాయ.
సదనుగ్రహాయ.
అను దగ్గర ఎక్స్టెండ్ చేయడం. సదనుగ్రహాయ.
సదనుగ్రహాయ. తద్వపు ప్రణయసే సదనుగ్రహాయ.
హరి బోల్. జై బాబు.
Yes, ma'am. Translation.
Translation. Oh my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Hare Krishna.
ఇది బ్రహ్మ చెప్తున్నాడా ప్రభు?
బ్రహ్మ అతని ప్రేయర్స్ లో ఒక శ్లోక ప్రభు ఇది. అంటే ఇంకా చాలా మంచి శ్లోకాలు ఉంటాయి ప్రభు ఈ ప్రేయర్స్ లో, బట్ దిస్ ఈస్ త్రూ ఇయర్స్ నా, సో దే మైట్ హావ్ కెప్ట్ ఇట్ హియర్.
So basically he got the realization, tapa tapa tapa, he heard it.
Yeah.
That's where,
and then now he prays to give him the intelligence.
Okay, yes Prabhu, let me do Srimad Bhagavatam 3.9.11. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja ase shrute pato nanunata pumsam yad urugaya vibhavayanti tattad vapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Mataji, no, sorry, Deepa Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
మీకు కావాలని చేస్తున్నారు, ఏం తీసుకోకండి అట్లా.
పర్వాలేదు ప్రభుజీ.
Because you can do. I am just encouraging other devotees.
No problem, Prabhuji.
Practice nice.
దీపా మాతాజీ ప్రొఫెషనల్ ప్రభుజీ, ఆవిడకి ఏం చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఈ ట్యూన్ లో పాడని చెప్తే చాలంటే ఆవిడ స్టార్ట్ అయిపోతారు.
Not a blade of grass moves without Lord's permission, మాతాజీ. ఏ రోజు ఉంటుంది, ఏ రోజు పోతుందో గొంతు ఎవరికి తెలియదు. సో ప్రొఫెషనల్ అని మనం ఏం గొప్పలు చెప్పుకోకర్లే, చంకలు గుద్దుకోకర్లే. Nothing is happening with this one.
And that is your humility, Mataji.
That is Deepa Mataji.
Reality. That is reality, Mataji. We all have to realize that. The day we think that we are the doers, no, that day we are gone. ఈ పాటలో ఇలాగ అప్రూవ్ చేస్తారనమాట దేవుడు, ఏ రోజు మనం అలా అనుకుంటే. మీ అసోసియేషన్ లేకుండా అయిపోతుందేమో నా భయం వేస్తుంది, అందుకని నేను అలాగా ఐ కీప్ రిమైండింగ్ మై సెల్ఫ్. హరే కృష్ణ. త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత్ సరోజా ఆసే శ్రుతేక్షిత పథో నను నాథ పుంసాం యద్యద్ధియాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి తత్తద్ వపు ప్రణయసే సదనుగ్రహాయ. Translation: O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So now, any devotees who want to relish?
I can do, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Chant.
Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja
Voice
yeah, Mali try some. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja आसे श्रुतेक्षितपतो ननुनाथ पुंसां यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Inka, today we'll conclude with this. Not going with Bhagavad Gita prayers. Tomorrow we'll do.
Yes, I'll try.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Bhakti yoga paribhavita shrita saroja ase shrutikshita pato nanunata pumsam yadyadhyayata urgaya vibhavayanti tattadvapu pranayasya sadanugrahaya.
Out of it. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Second line, you can. Anyway, we will do it tomorrow also. Anybody? Or we can wrap up.
I'll do, Prabhuji.
Yeah, మీరు చేయండి దానికి రామరెడ్డి ప్రభు ఉన్నారా?
Yes, Prabhuji.
ఇంకే మీ ఇద్దరు చేయండి, తర్వాత లావణ్య చేస్తుంది. దాని
ఓకే ప్రభుజీ. త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత్ సరోజా ఆత్సే శ్రుతాక్షితపతో నను నాద పుంసాం యద్యద్దియాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి తత్తద్వపు ప్రణయసే సదనుగ్రహాయ. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ప్రభు. హరి కృష్ణ.
రామ్ రెడ్డి ప్రభు.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు. శ్రీమద్ భాగవతం 3.9.11. త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత్ సరోజా ఆసే శృతేక్షితపతో నను నాథ పుంసాం యద్యద్దియాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి తత్తద్వపు ప్రణయసే సదనుగ్రహాయ. థ్యాంక్ యూ ప్రభు. హరి కృష్ణ.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ. Can I do ప్రభుజీ?
ఎవరు శ్రీష మాధయ్య?
Yes sir.
చేయండి.
భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత్ సరోజా అశేష్టుపేక్షితాపతో భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత్ సరోజా అశేష్టుపేక్షితపతో నను నాథ పుంసాం యద్యద్దియాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి తత్తద్వపు ప్రణయసే సదనుగ్రహాయ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మాధవి. చేయండి లావణ్య.
శ్రీమద్ భాగవతం 3.9.11. సంభక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత సరోజా భాసే శ్రుతేక్షిత పదో నను నాథ పుంసాం యద్యద్దియాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి తత్తద్వపు ప్రణయసే సదనుగ్రహాయ.
యా, ఇంకేమైనా చేస్తారా? అడుగుతున్నాను బట్ టైం అని. అప్ టు యూ.
I'll do Prabhuji. I can try.
ఓకే, ఈ చేయండి లాస్ట్.
త్వం భక్తి యోగ పరిభావిత హృత్ సరోజా ఆసే శ్రుతేక్షితపతో నను నాథ పుంసాం యద్యద్దియాత ఉరుగాయ విభావయంతి తత్తద్వపు ప్రణయసే సదనుగ్రహాయ.
ప్రభు లలిత్ ప్రభు
చెప్పండి ప్రభు.
శుత్వా గుణాలానే ఉంది కదా ప్రభు. డిఫరెన్స్ ఇప్పుడు మందారకుండా శుత్వా గుణాలు. శుత్వా గుణాన్ భువనసం ఏం డిఫరెన్స్ మందారకుండా దీనికి చెప్పండి.
ఏం లేదు, అదే మందారకుండా 2 ట్యూన్లు చేయొచ్చు కదా, దాన్ని శుత్వాతో
నేనేమో అది వేరేనా? నేను ఈమెతో మాట్లాడుతున్నా, మా ఆమెతో మాట్లాడుతున్నా, ఆమె చెప్తుంది. చెప్పండి ప్రభు.
యా 2 ఒకటే ప్రభు. అంటే శుత్వ గుణ మందారకుండ అనేది 2 చేయొచ్చు అని మనం ప్రాక్టీస్ కోసం పెట్టినాం కదా
అనుకున్నాం. ఓకే 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 ఓకే. మీరు మందారకుండ
3-4 టైమ్స్ టైప్స్ చేయొచ్చు ఈ శ్లోక.
ఇంకో టైప్ చేద్దాం రేపు కావాలంటే. తెలిసి ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్.
వద్దు ప్రభు ఎగ్జామ్ ఉంది.
one announcement actually 2 days back that Mataji, Radhika Mataji messaged me and she has got blessed with baby girl. So let us pray for that Matajis and their family and the infant for 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay, baby girl Hare Krishna 3 times. Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare
Rama
Rama
Hare Rama 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 Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
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 Hare
Hare Rama Hare
Hare Rama Rama
Yeah, she was regular in our cars due to her pregnancy and various morning busyness, so she didn't join. So hopefully she'll come back and join with us. So Mata, you only introduced her, I think, right?
Yes,
Radhika Mata.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. Thank you very much. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Beautiful Bhagavatam prayers. We are relishing actually. with the help of
Yes,
these
Prabhuji.
various
Even
tools.
even during the class, I didn't realize they are so beautiful. And
Yeah,
realize.
well known to His mercy. Thank you for
Yes.
giving us taste. Seriously.
ప్రభు కొండ ఇంకా కొండ పైకి ఎక్కలేదు ప్రభు ఎక్కడ ఇంకా ఎక్కించాను ఇంకా పైకి
నేను
పైకి
గిరిరాజునే కదా ప్రభుజీ. సో గిరిరాజ్
అదే పైకి ఎక్కించాను ప్రభు వెనకాల జరుగుతుంది
ఇంకొక గిరిరాజ్ లాంటి. Anyway, thank you. We loved it. We are learning. We are experiencing bliss.
గోవర్ధన్ ఎక్కి రాధాకుండలోకి దూకొచ్చు ప్రభు.
Relishing, yes. Thank you so much. Granthharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Charitamritham ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Leelamritam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. కాంత్ ప్రభు మీరు రేపు వచ్చి రిసైడ్ చేయండి భగవద్గీత. ఎవరైతే ఎగ్జామ్ ఉందో ప్లీజ్ ప్రాక్టీస్. ఐ హావ్ ఆల్రెడీ షేర్డ్ 1 page slide. Please take it from Veda Reading Club group, and otherwise I will send right away. Please practice, and tomorrow try to, without looking, you try, because this weekend also some of you having exam. It's better to practice. Okay. I'll share the one single page slide for all the slokas. Hare Krishna.